right on your mental feet. One slip and you know you're through. Big Brother is watching you.
If there's one thing in this world I love, it's my privacy. I don't like when people are snooping around my house or my things. Most people would probably agree with me when I say that the government should not be allowed to be looking through our private information, private messages, and social media. Over the past decade, many laws have been brought to the table of Congress trying to prevent the government from abusing their ability to view our private information on the internet. A perfect example of a law that was brought to the table of Congress in recent times is SOPA, which stands for the Stop Online Privacy Act. While the Stop Online Privacy Act was not completely intended to stop the government from looking at all of our private information, it did severely change the way the government could use the internet to look at our private information. The Stop Online Privacy Act was really more intended for anti-pirating reasons on the internet for websites such as the Pirate Bay. However, these laws created an issue where they could see anyone's information. The real problem with the Stop Online Privacy Act isn't the fact that the government wants to stop people from pirating music and movies. It's the fact that people at the government institutions would try and use their ability to look at people's information for their own purposes and abuse them. The ECPA, or the Electronics Communications Privacy Act, is one of the only laws preventing the government from being able to go through all of our electronic data without permission. According to this law, law enforcement is required to have a subpoena to go looking through any messages, social media messages, or other electronic data that is more than 180 days old. However, if the messages are less than 180 days old, the government is required to find a warrant to be able to go looking through these messages. In just half of the year of 2012, Google reported receiving over 18,000 requests from the government to find information that we would normally be considering private information. One of the most prevalent government agencies today is an agency called PRISM. PRISM is a group that is intended to stop terrorist activity by looking through the internet and finding groups that are suspected of trying to terrorize the United States. PRISM has contracts with all different companies trying to find information on people that they shouldn't be allowed to have, such as Microsoft, AOL, Skype, Facebook, Apple, YouTube, Yahoo, and even Google. A perfect example of how the government can use this power is when I was in high school, a fellow student stole a pair of my shoes from the rec center. Later that week, I had seen the picture on Facebook of him wearing the shoes, and I ended up reporting it to the school officer. Later that day, he had called the other student up and questioned him about the shoes and showed him the picture on Facebook. The kid later admitted to stealing the shoes, and I was refunded the money. This shows how the government can go on Facebook and use it to their advantage. So if you agree with me when I say that the government should not be allowed to go through our private information, and take a stand. Stop the government from looking through our information.